In the words of Obi-Wan Kenobi, hello there. The newest Star Wars series, Obi-Wan Kenobi, has officially arrived in our universe. A 6-part miniseries, the show focuses on the legendary Jedi Master in the time between Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, and Episode 4, A New Hope, a previously unexplored period in the character's life. With this new story also comes new characters and returning favorites. Kenobi encounters everything from Sith Lords to criminals and rebels on his quest to find Princess Leia.
You have no idea what I'm risking being here, Your Highness.
But of these many characters, who among them are the most heroic, and which ones follow a darker path? I'm Kyle with WickedBinge, and this is Obi-Wan Kenobi characters, good to evil. As usual, we'll be kicking things off with the most heroic character, and working our way down to the most evil. These characters are the good. The gold medal of good has to go to Princess Leia. While she has yet to truly become the freedom fighter we know her as in the original trilogy, the Princess of Alderaan has many traits that make her deserving of our top spot. For one, she's easily the most optimistic character in the whole cast. Whether she's being held hostage or caught in the middle of an Imperial attack, Leia is never one to believe that all is lost.
If somebody is offering us help, I think we should take it.
Leia is also a great helper, even though she's only 10 years old. As our heroes attempt to escape Jabim in Chapter 5, Leia is the one who makes sure the doors in the base can open, allowing them to get out alive. She's also able to listen to orders very well, a tactic that would become necessary for her later life in the rebellion. Even when she's running for her life from criminals, she's able to effectively evade them, at least for a time. Leia's incredibly resilient as well, which is seen during her interrogation with the third sister. While Reva pushes more and more for information, the princess doesn't tell her a thing.
Is this a stare contest?
Leia can be quite rebellious, and her actions are indeed the catalyst for everything that unfolds in the show. But her optimism and freedom-fighting attitude make her an easy pick for the top spot on this list. It goes to show you that no matter how young or old she is, this princess will always fight for what's right. In second place, our silver medal of good has to go to the star of the show, Obi-Wan Kenobi. When we meet him, Obi-Wan is at a low point in his life, tormented by feelings of guilt towards everything that happened between him and his apprentice. He has essentially cut himself off from everyone and everything. This is best seen when he outright refuses Bail Organa's plea for help. However, as he embarks on his quest to save Leia and bring her home, Kenobi starts to become the more hopeful and optimistic character we know him as in the original trilogy. His experiences with many of the people he encounters on his mission make him realize there are still people trying to make the galaxy a better place in their own little ways. Slowly but surely, Kenobi's trust in others, as well as his faith in the Force, starts to be restored. Obi-Wan's evolution within the series is best shown in his 2 battles with Darth Vader. In the first battle, Kenobi is clearly afraid, trying desperately to run away from the problem. The fight ends in a major loss for Obi-Wan.
Now you will suffer.
The second duel, which happens at the end of the series, sees Obi-Wan defeat Vader after renewing his connection with the Force. This battle also highlights Obi-Wan's compassion, which is his greatest strength. He wins the duel with Vader not because he's stronger, but because he has something to fight for, Luke and Leia. Obi-Wan may not be the Jedi we know him as when the show starts, but it ends with him truly settling into the role of the wise Jedi Master who guided Luke on his first step into a larger universe. For all these reasons, the Negotiator has to get the second spot on our list. We're giving the bronze medal of good to Roken. Though his role in the show isn't quite as active as some of the other characters on this list, Roken still plays a vital role in moving the story of the show along. Roken was once married to a woman who possessed the powers of the Force. After the Empire hunted her down, he became a notable figure in the operation of the Path, the network that helps smuggle Jedi and other Force sensitives to safety. This act of bravery alone secures Roken a high position on our list. but he's also incredibly valuable in Obi-Wan's mission of escorting Leia home. When the Empire comes to Jabim, he guides the refugees as they make their escape. Roken is very capable of handling himself too, as seen when he fended off the invading stormtroopers with a trusty bowcaster. Roken might not be a Jedi or rebel, but the role he plays in helping Force-sensitive individuals evade the Empire makes him one of the most honorable characters in the show's cast. Few would dare to defy the Empire in such a way, but Roken takes that chance. For playing a role of such magnitude, it only makes sense that Roken rounds out our top 3. Moving on to the Senator of Alderaan, Bail Organa. Senator Organa's role in this show is quite interesting because he's not the prestigious senator he is in the prequel trilogy, nor is he the rebellion leader we see in Rogue One. Bail is somewhere between these two interpretations, which is a major reason he doesn't rank as high as he could. Still, though he isn't as active here as he is in other stories, the characteristics of this courageous politician can remain. When he starts to believe Obi-Wan has failed his mission, he immediately begins making plans to head for Tatooine and to help Owen Lars watch over Luke. His request for Obi-Wan to save Leia is also what triggers Kenobi's journey of finding hope. While it's only briefly hinted at through a quick line by Obi-Wan in the series' 3rd episode, Bail Organa is also trying his best to make the galaxy a peaceful place in the time of the Empire. While these actions won't bear fruit until years later, it acts as a good wink towards Bail's future as a leader in the rebellion. While he doesn't play a big role in this story, he remains a bright spot on an otherwise dark time for the galaxy, which earns his spot here in the good section. And rounding out our good tier is the head of the Lars family, Owen Lars. Uncle Owen fits the role of a stern and protective father figure to a T. He's very vigilant over Luke, to a fault even. He wants Obi-Wan to have as little to do with him as possible, out of fear that he will turn out like his father. Rarely, if ever, does there come a moment when Luke is out of Owen's path. While he is very strict, Owen's feelings come from a good place. He sees Luke as his own and just wants what's best for him. Owen is willing to do whatever it takes to keep Luke safe, and that includes protecting him from the third sister once she arrives at the homestead. Owen's relationship with Obi-Wan even improves a bit by the end of the series, when he allows him to share a moment with Luke. While the two still aren't on the friendliest of terms, it shows that Owen does see Obi-Wan as someone he can count on. Owen Lars can be a bit overbearing, but his heart is absolutely in the right place, and for that, he earns a spot here in the good section. And with the good section wrapped up, it's time to enter the neutral territory. This is the gray area. The gray area starts off with Tala Darith. When you look at the history of this character, it becomes apparent quickly why she is in this tier. Tala works as an Imperial officer, but unbeknownst to her comrades, she works in secret as a member of the Path. She actually joined the Galactic Empire in the hopes of improving the galaxy, but it didn't take long for her to see the injustices the Empire had carried out. We don't get a lot of details regarding her past in the Empire, but it can be assumed she got involved in some rather horrible deeds. As a member of the Path, she is instrumental in getting Force sensitives to safety.
These days, the Empire hunts anyone who's Force sensitive.
When the Empire shows up, she even sacrifices herself to allow Obi-Wan and the others to get away safely. Because of her allegiance to the Empire, we don't think we can quite put her down in the good area. That said, she is still anything but evil. Between her belief in making the galaxy better and her role in helping the Jedi survive, we think she makes perfect sense as our first pick in the gray section. Our next pick is a Jedi, or so we are led to believe. Actually, it's the criminal Haja Estri. First appearing in the show's 2nd episode, he helps whoever he can, but for a price. He pretends to be a Jedi and uses this as a way of attaining more credits.
The Force is so strong with you.
Yeah, I know.
By his own admission, he has made plenty of mistakes and might love credits a little too much. Despite being a criminal and a thief, there is a lot of light inside him. He maintains a relationship with the Path, which is where he guides Obi-Wan in his quest. While Kenobi is not impressed with his trickery, Haja redeems himself soon after by not only defeating and attacking bounty hunter, but also by distracting the Inquisitors, allowing Kenobi the time he needs to find Leia. He could have very easily sold Kenobi and Leia out to the Empire or the numerous bounty hunters searching for them, but he chose not to. In many ways, he is a bit like the Han Solo of the series. He might appear to be in it only for himself and to line his pockets, but on the inside lies a heart of gold. He grows as a character through the series, eventually taking refuge with many of the others involved with the path. While his character takes a back seat in the later episodes of the show, he remains a critical character in helping Obi-Wan start to trust in others again, and proof that not everyone is what they seem like at a glance. Wrapping up the gray area, we have the third sister herself, Reva. Reva's story begins as a youngling in the Jedi Temple, who miraculously survived Anakin's slaughter of the Jedi after falling to the dark side. Now, Reva serves as part of the Inquisitors, a group dedicated to wiping out all Force sensitives. That said, Reva has different aspirations. She wants to climb higher up the Empire chain of command in an attempt to kill Darth Vader, seeking revenge for all the pain he has brought her. Reva is uncompromising in this goal. She seeks out Leia in an effort to draw Obi-Wan out of hiding, as she is well aware that doing so will greatly impress Lord Vader. When Vader reveals he was mindful of her entire plan and leaves her for dead, she goes out on a mission to take out the young Luke Skywalker. Reva defeats the Lars family in her pursuit and very nearly kills Luke. That is, until she realizes her quest for vengeance is putting her on the same path as Anakin. Ashamed of her actions, she surrenders to Kenobi, who consoles her. Reva proceeds to leave the planet, hoping to find a better life for herself, and possibly others along the way. As the most prominent new character in the series, Reva has the most dramatic character arc out of anyone, going from a villain to being in a search of a new purpose. Reva's actions throughout the show could very well put her in the evil category, but her redemption ultimately keeps her here. Even her pursuit of Vader has somewhat noble roots. It just becomes corrupted as she falls deeper into darkness. In conclusion, Reva leaves the show as a Force user who isn't quite a Jedi, but she's also no longer a follower of the dark side, making her the most obvious character to appear in the gray area. And with our gray area complete, we now move into the dark side with the baddest of the bad. These characters are the evil. Taking the bronze medal of evil is the Fifth Brother. Fifth Brother plays a minor role in the show compared to some of his dark side co-stars, but don't let that fool you. The Fifth Brother is just as rotten as any of them, and unlike Reva, there is no redemption for him. When Kenobi and Leia take refuge in a village, while Reva may take a lot more action in the series, the Fifth Brother is more methodical in his planning, and believes Reva takes things too far. Still, when the time comes, the Fifth Brother is ready to take out any and all Jedi, even if it means killing the innocent to draw them out. A true devotee to the dark side and the Empire, the Fifth Brother is only interested in stomping out all traces of the Jedi, all throughout the galaxy, proving that you don't need a lot of screen time to be considered one of the more dangerous threats for a Jedi to encounter. Our silver medal of evil has to go to the Grand Inquisitor. Although he sits out a decent chunk of the series, and we mean that in the most literal sense, the Grand Inquisitor is a force to be reckoned with. He leads the Inquisitors on their bloodthirsty hunts for the Jedi and other Force sensitives. He is completely without mercy, an attribute best seen when he murdered the bounty hunter Vect for failing to disclose Kenobi's location. The Grand Inquisitor is also a cold and calculating individual. While part of the reason he knows the Jedi so well is that he was once one of them, he also knows all about how their compassion can be exploited and used to the advantage of others. This just makes him all the more dangerous as a foe.
I will take Kenobi in myself.
As the Grand Inquisitor, we should mention that he is far and above the most dangerous out of all the Inquisitors featured in the show, and the franchise as a whole, though he may not seem like it in the context of this series. With that in mind, it would seem strange not to give him this ranking on our list. And there is only one person who ranks higher than the Grand Inquisitor, and coincidentally, it is the same man he takes orders from. Of course, receiving the Gold Medal of Evil is none other than Darth Vader himself. I mean, who else could it be? Once the heroic Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader is a Sith Lord who is as evil and as powerful as they come. the enforcer of the Emperor's will. This show sees a version of the Dark Lord that is totally obsessed with hunting down his former master, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Vader is willing to do anything to draw out Kenobi. When he arrives on planet in search of the Jedi Master, Vader kills several innocent civilians in the hopes that these actions will draw him out. The show also explores what Vader's actions have done to shape others across the galaxy, and not just Obi-Wan. Reva was a youngling who somehow managed to survive the attack on the Jedi Temple, and now leads a life of villainy in the hopes that she will one day get revenge on the Sith Lord. Vader has created a long trail of despair in the galaxy, and the only thing that can stand in his way is hope. Even at the end of the series, Vader remains infatuated with Kenobi. Never mind the fact that his search for him only led to another brutal defeat at his hands. Only the words of the Emperor, his new and far more powerful master, can keep Vader on a leash.
I serve only you, my master.
Although he may not be at the literal top of the Empire's chain of command, this show truly displays Vader as a ruthless and vengeful villain, one that is now more machine than man. And for all these reasons, we can't crown him as anything else but the most evil villain in the series. But what else can you expect? With our morality spectrum complete, let's wrap things up by handing out our Sinner medals. First up, we give the Pride Medal to the Grand Inquisitor. I mean, with a title like that, how can you say this guy doesn't have a pretty inflated ego? The Envy Medal has to go to the Fifth Brother. His jealousy of the third sister for becoming a favorite in Vader's eyes makes him very deserving of this award. The Lust Medal has to go to our final Inquisitor, Reva, all due to the fact that her desire to take out Vader nearly consumes her. The Greed Medal has to go to Haja Estri. After all, he's a con man who values credits over pretty much everything else. And finally, we have to give the Wrath Medal to Darth Vader, whose feelings of anger and rage make him an uncontrollable force of nature. But let us know in the comment section if you agree with our ranking, and tell us what we should cover next. Remember to hit that notification bell and binge our Good to Evil playlist, where we break down the morality of the characters in your favorite cartoons, shows, and movies. But most importantly, stay wicked.